The year is 2357. Humanity stands at a crossroads, a pivotal moment in our history. The Earth, our cradle and home for millennia, is now a desolate shadow of its former self. The once thriving cities, bustling with life and energy, are now silent and abandoned, their skyscrapers standing as hollow monuments to a bygone era. Our once vibrant Earth is a shadow of its former self. The streets that were once filled with laughter and joy are now empty, echoing with the ghosts of the past. The parks where children played and families gathered are overgrown with weeds, nature reclaiming what was once hers. Decades of neglect and abuse have ravaged the planet, leaving scars that may never heal. Industrial areas, once the heart of our progress, now stand as toxic wastelands, their factories silent and their chimneys cold. The forests, the lungs of our world, have been decimated, their trees felled for short-term gain, leaving behind a barren wasteland. The fertile lands that once fed billions are now cracked and dry, the soil turned to dust. Desertification has spread like a plague, consuming everything in its path. The air is thick with toxins, a poisonous miasma that chokes the life out of everything it touches. The skies, once clear and blue, are now perpetually shrouded in a haze of smog and pollution. The once fertile lands are now cracked and dry, the lifeblood of our planet drained away. Droughts have become the norm, turning once lush farmlands into barren deserts, and the oceans, once teeming with life, are choked with plastic and pollution. The great coral reefs, the rainforests of the sea, are bleached and dying, their vibrant colors faded to a ghostly white. The very air we breathe has become our enemy. People walk the streets wearing gas masks, a grim reminder of the world we have created. The sunlight, once warm and life-giving, now struggles to penetrate the thick veil of pollution that blankets the earth. From the ashes of this dying world rose a beacon of hope, the Steller Exodus Project. Conceived in the darkest days of our decline, it was a desperate gamble to ensure humanity's survival. Scientists and engineers from every corner of the globe came together, united by a common goal: to find a new home among the stars, a desperate gamble to ensure humanity's survival. The project was ambitious, its scope unprecedented. Massive spacecraft were constructed, each one a self-contained world, capable of sustaining life for the long journey ahead. Families said their tearful goodbyes, knowing they might never see their loved ones again. The goal to reach Eden Prime, a planet 12 light-years away, deemed habitable by long-range probes. This distant world, a shimmering jewel in the vast cosmic ocean, represented our last chance. It was a beacon of hope, a promise of a new beginning. This distant world, a shimmering jewel in the vast cosmic ocean, represented our last chance. Its blue oceans and green continents, so reminiscent of Earth, offered a glimmer of hope in the darkness. It was a place where humanity could start anew, free from the mistakes of the past. The heart of this audacious undertaking was Helios 1, an ark designed to carry the last vestiges of humanity to a new home among the stars. This colossal vessel, a marvel of engineering, was equipped with everything needed to sustain life on the long journey ahead. It was a lifeboat for a species on the brink of extinction. A vessel crafted from the dreams of a dying planet, carrying the hopes of a species on the brink. Inside, people were placed in cryosleep, their bodies preserved for the long journey through the void. Astronauts trained for years, prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. But the journey would be long, fraught with dangers both known and unknown. The vastness of space is filled with hazards, from deadly radiation to rogue asteroids. The crew would need to be vigilant, their skills and training put to the ultimate test. The question wasn't whether we were ready, we had run out of time for such luxuries. The countdown had begun, and there was no turning back. People hurried to board the spacecraft, their faces a mix of fear and hope. The question was whether the universe would allow us a second chance. As the spacecraft entered the wormhole, the crew looked out into the vast expanse of space, their hearts filled with hope and trepidation. Would Eden Prime be the sanctuary they so desperately needed, or would it be another harsh lesson in the unforgiving nature of the cosmos? Only time would tell. The selection process for Helios 1 was a symphony of hope and despair. In a world teetering on the brink of collapse, This mission represented the last beacon of hope for humanity. The air was thick with anticipation, as each individual knew that their future, and perhaps the future of the entire human race, hung in the balance. Millions applied, their dreams clinging to the slim chance of a fresh start on a new world. The application process was rigorous, designed to filter out all but the most determined and capable. Each form filled out was a testament to the human spirit's resilience and unyielding desire to survive and thrive, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Each candidate carried the weight of a dying planet on their shoulders, their minds burdened with the knowledge that Earth could no longer sustain them. The maps and charts they studied were not just tools, but symbols of a world that had once been full of promise and now lay in ruins. The stress etched on their faces told stories of personal loss, environmental devastation, and the urgent need for a new beginning. Their hopes and fears intertwined with the fate of humanity itself. Every personal item clutched tightly was a piece of their past, a memory of a life left behind. The worried expressions reflected not just personal anxieties but a collective fear for the future. They were not just competing for a place on Helios 1, they were vying for the survival of their species. Scientists, engineers, doctors, artists, a tapestry of human knowledge and potential, all vying for a place on the Ark. Each profession represented a vital thread in the fabric of a new society. The scientists brought with them the promise of innovation, the engineers the skills to build anew, the doctors the ability to heal, and the artists the vision to inspire. Together, they formed a microcosm of what humanity could be if given a second chance, all vying for a place on the Ark. The discussions were intense, each individual showcasing their skills and arguing their worth. The competition was fierce, but beneath it all was a shared hope, the hope that they could be part of something greater than themselves, a new beginning for humanity. A lottery system, cold and impartial, was the only fair way to choose. The randomness of the selection process was both a blessing and a curse. It ensured that everyone had an equal chance, but it also meant that fate, rather than merit, would decide their future. The tension in the room was palpable as the machine whirred and clicked, each name drawn a lifeline for one and a heartbreak for another. Each name drawn represented a life saved and a life left behind. The reactions were immediate and visceral. Relief washed over those whose names were called, while despair settled on the faces of those left behind. The split screen of emotions captured the duality of the moment, joy and sorrow, hope and despair, intertwined in a single defining instant. Families were torn asunder, lovers separated by the cruel hand of fate. The farewells were heart-wrenching, each goodbye a reminder of the sacrifices being made. Parents clung to their children, lovers held each other tightly, knowing that this might be the last time they would ever see each other. The spaceport became a place of both hope and heartbreak, a gateway to a new world and a reminder of all that was being left behind. The anguish of those left behind was palpable, a constant echo in the shadow of the departing vessel. As the spaceship lifted off, tears streamed down the faces of those watching. Hands reached out in farewell, a final desperate attempt to hold on to their loved ones. The emotional crowd at the space launch was a testament to the deep bonds of love and family, bonds that even the vastness of space could not sever. Yet, amidst the sorrow, a sense of duty prevailed. Those chosen for the mission walked towards the spaceship with purpose, their faces set with determination. They knew that they carried the hopes of an entire species on their shoulders. The final hugs were filled with resolve, a silent promise to make the most of this second chance. For those chosen, Helios 1 became not just a vessel, but a sacred responsibility. Boarding the spacecraft was a solemn affair, each step a commitment to the future. The closing hatch symbolized the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Inside the spacecraft, the passengers' serious expressions reflected the gravity of their mission. They were not just leaving Earth, they were embarking on a journey to save humanity. They were the seeds of a new civilization, entrusted with the legacy of a species teetering on the brink. As they looked out at the receding Earth, they held mementos of their past lives, reminders of what they were leaving behind. The group shot of the spaceship crew captured their determination and resolve. They knew that they were carrying the hopes and dreams of billions and that their success or failure would determine the future of humanity. The weight of that legacy hung heavy, a constant reminder of the precious cargo they carried within their hearts. Every thoughtful expression, every personal item held close, was a testament to the enormity of their task. They were not just passengers on a spaceship, they were the custodians of humanity's future, carrying within them the hopes, dreams, and legacy of a species on the brink of a new beginning. The launch of Helios 1 was a global spectacle, broadcast live across the ravaged remnants of Earth. As the colossal vessel tore through the atmosphere, it carried with it the hopes and dreams of a dying planet. A collective breath was held as Helios 1, bathed in the fiery glow of its engines, vanished into the black canvas of space. With the Earth shrinking behind them, the passengers and crew of Helios 1 prepared for the long journey ahead. Cryosleep, a technological marvel, would keep them preserved in a state of suspended animation, their bodies untouched by the ravages of time. Decades would pass in the blink of an eye, the vast emptiness of space, a silent companion. Inside their pods, the travelers dreamt of Eden Prime, their minds adrift in a sea of hope and anticipation. But the universe, it seemed, had other plans. The first sign of trouble came as a blip on the radar, a faint anomaly detected at the edge of known space, a ripple in the fabric of reality, hinting at something unknown, something beyond the realm of human comprehension. The anomaly manifested as a low hum, a faint tremor that resonated through the hull of Helios 1. It was almost imperceptible at first, a mere whisper in the vast silence of space. The crew, seasoned and vigilant, initially dismissed it as a minor glitch, a quirk of the ship's aging systems, but this was no ordinary malfunction. The hum had a rhythm, a pulse that seemed almost alive. It was as if the ship itself was trying to communicate, to convey a message from the depths of the cosmos. It was subtle at first, easily dismissed as a sensor malfunction. The crew ran diagnostics, recalibrated instruments, and even replaced some of the older components. Yet the hum persisted, growing ever so slightly with each passing day. The data from the sensors became increasingly erratic, showing fluctuations that defied logical explanation. The crew's initial nonchalance began to give way to a creeping sense of unease. But as the days turned into weeks, the hum grew stronger, more insistent. It was no longer a background noise but a constant presence, a reminder that something was amiss. The vibrations became more pronounced, causing the ship to shudder intermittently. The crew could feel it in their bones, a disquieting resonance that seemed to sync with their very heartbeats. Conversations in the control room grew tense, and the once routine operations were now fraught with anxiety. The ship's systems, once predictable, started to behave erratically. Control panel lights flickered without warning and the navigation systems occasionally glitched, sending the ship veering off course for brief, terrifying moments. The artificial gravity fluctuated, causing objects to float momentarily before crashing back down. It was as if the ship was being haunted by a technological ghost, a phantom that toyed with their instruments and their minds. Captain Eva Rostova, a woman forged in the fires of Earth's final days, assembled her senior staff. Her stern expression betrayed none of the fear that gnawed at her insides. She had faced the collapse of civilizations, the chaos of mass evacuations, and the void of space. But this was different. This was an unknown, a mystery that defied her experience and training. She needed answers, and she needed them fast. The crew looked to her for guidance, their trust in her unwavering despite the growing uncertainty. Dr. Lena Fang, the mission's chief astrophysicist, pored over the data, her brow furrowed with concern. She had spent her life studying the stars, decoding the secrets of the universe. Yet, this anomaly was unlike anything she had ever encountered. The data was a jumble of contradictions, a puzzle with pieces that didn't quite fit. She ran simulations, cross-referenced historical records, and even consulted ancient star charts. But the anomaly remained an enigma, a cosmic riddle that eluded her grasp. The anomaly defied explanation. A cosmic enigma whispering at the edge of their understanding. It was as if the universe itself was playing a game, teasing them with glimpses of a truth that lay just beyond their reach. The more they studied it, the more questions it raised. Was it a natural phenomenon, a quirk of the cosmos, or was it something more, something deliberate? The scientists debated endlessly, their theories growing wilder and more speculative with each passing day. The hum, they soon discovered, wasn't random. It had a pattern, a structure that suggested intent. The realization sent a chill through the crew. This was no mere anomaly, it was a signal, a message from the void. They began to analyze it in earnest, breaking it down into its component parts, searching for meaning in the noise. The signal was complex, a series of pulses that seemed to convey information. But what was it trying to say? It was a signal, a complex series of pulses that defied any known natural phenomenon. It was artificial, it was intelligent, the implications were staggering. If the signal was indeed a message, then who or what was sending it? And why? The crew's excitement was tempered by a growing sense of dread. They were no longer alone in the vastness of space. Something or someone was out there reaching out to them. But was it a friend or a foe? And it was getting stronger. The signal's intensity increased with each passing day, its pulses growing more frequent and more powerful. The ship's sensors struggled to keep up, their readings spiking into the red. The crew's anxiety grew in tandem with the signal's strength. They were on the brink of a discovery that could change the course of human history, but the unknown loomed large, a shadow that cast doubt on their every move. Fear, a primal instinct buried deep within the human psyche, began to stir within the crew. They had faced the dangers of space travel, the isolation of the void, and the unknown perils of distant worlds. But this was different. This was an existential threat, a challenge to their very understanding of the universe. The fear was palpable, a silent specter that haunted their every waking moment. They tried to remain focused, to carry out their duties with the same precision and dedication as always. But the fear was always there, lurking in the background, a constant reminder of the stakes. The signal, they realized, was emanating from their destination, Eden Prime. The planet, once a beacon of hope for humanity's future, now held a new significance. It was the source of the signal, the origin of the hum that had haunted them for weeks. The crew's anticipation grew as they neared the planet, their minds racing with possibilities. What awaited them on the surface? Was it a new form of life, a relic of an ancient civilization, or something entirely different? What awaited them at the end of their perilous journey? The question hung in the air, unspoken but ever present. The crew stared out at the planet, their minds filled with a mix of hope and trepidation. Eden Prime was a world of promise, a new beginning for humanity, but it was also a world of unknowns, a place where the rules of the universe might be different. The crew braced themselves for whatever lay ahead, their resolve unwavering despite the uncertainty. Was it a welcome or a warning? The signal's true nature remained a mystery, its meaning obscured by layers of complexity. The crew could only speculate, their theories ranging from the hopeful to the dire. Was the signal an invitation, a call to explore and discover, or was it a warning, a sign that they were trespassing into forbidden territory? The ambiguity was maddening, a puzzle that refused to be solved. The fate of humanity, it seemed, hung precariously on the answer. The crew of Helios 1 were pioneers, explorers on the frontier of human knowledge. Their mission was to seek out new worlds, to expand the horizons of human understanding. But now, they faced a challenge unlike any they had encountered before. The signal from Eden Prime was a test, a trial that would determine the future of their species. The crew steeled themselves for the journey ahead, their eyes fixed on the unknown, their hearts filled with a mix of fear and hope. The adventure of a lifetime awaited them, and the fate of humanity rested on their shoulders.